So first of all, I would like to know about Tachlog. What exactly the company do, and you are in which domain, and what exactly you offer to your customers.
Okay, Tachlog is basically an electronics design in-house. Okay, like a design house or something like that, where we actually design products. Okay, so being a design company, it's a very vague idea. But what we exactly do is like we work with many aerospace related product development activities, mainly work with ISRO, so that our cards has the potential to deliver really good performance in some radiation environment like space like that. So in the harsh environment like high temperature area like that. So we are a company who is able to do the design, do the development till the production and testing. So that's the capability of the company, like a turnkey service provider. The technical term for this is like end to end. That's generally called as turnkey. So Tachlog is a company who is capable of delivering aerospace product as a turnkey service provider.
So you are not manufacturing anything. You are just providing designing, development, and testing and R&D.
Okay. No, no. The manufacturing is also included with us.
Okay, okay. You are doing manufacturing also.
Yes.
So, who are your target audience exactly?
Our right now the major target audience is right now ISRO. We are dealing with many of the ISRO unit like IASU, VSSC, HSFC, LEOS, URSC, LPSC. So that level of we are actually working with these ISRO unit, and most of the revenues comes from the ISRO purchase orders. Right now we are focusing on multiple domain also, like we are right now focusing on the defense sector, where we can have the opportunities like some of the design activities we can take care and till the production and testing, because these are to get an understanding, this is not a one person job.
Mm-hmm.
Even multiple companies can associate together to do the production, because like a consortium or something like that. We are one of the first companies in the country to execute a consortium, because some of the products we are really strong, like some areas we have the really good technical expertise, but some kind of productions the other person can have some technical expertise, so we can work together and create a product. So that's the equation generally all the people are trying to make. So we are able to do that very successfully.
So, Pratheesh, you have explained your product, but I want to know in a layman language, if in a simple language, if you are a company and you are catering to ISRO, but what exactly you are doing, you have to explain it in a very simple language. So, I want to know that.
Okay, so I can explain you a couple of products we have developed. Like
Mm-hmm.
we were working with ISRO. Like uh, ISRO had a robotic, relocatable robotic arm. Okay, which was developed by IASU and VSSC. Okay, but the control card that they were using is developed by Tachlog. So the control card, it was having a Smart Fusion FPGA and a SAMI 71 controller. So that card is actually developed by Tachlog. It's a quartz computer we generally call. So it was developed by Tachlog. So this make them pretty much easy to integrate their other electronics, other mechanical stuff and their drives and stuff, so that this build can be realized really, really fast. So we take care of the responsibility of the control card till the production, so they can integrate the system. And one more system we have developed for ISRO is like they have really good gyros developed, like Make in India kind of gyroscopes they have developed. For that, they require these. They need to verify the system and they need to acquire the data corresponding to some command response or something like that. They required a data acquisition system. We Tachlog had developed one a product called Data Scoop, which actually get the data of the sensor both in a command response format and a dumping format. So these kind of products we develop, and these are actually our designing capability and where we get the revenue from ISRO.
All right. So, Pratheesh, I
Mm,
want to know that the PDF which you have shared with us. So, you
mm.
have explained three, four products. Like first is Flometron, and Steer Robo, and
No.
Staro, and Data Scoop. So, for Data Scoop, you have explained just now. And what about these three products?
Okay. Actually, we are one of the first company in the country to
Hmm.
introduce smart water meter.
Okay.
Uh, so this is an example for many of the companies to get an idea about how marketing and the capability of manufacture depends on the product. So I don't say that I was really successful in selling flow metron. We
Hmm.
were the first in the country to have smart water meter.
Hmm.
From 2016 to 19, we were the only key player who can able to do the mass manufacturing.
Hmm.
But what happened in the COVID timeframe, our major revenue comes from the Bangalore residential towers. Okay,
Hmm.
where the consumption of the metering is really required.
Hmm.
But what happened after that is like uh, the India is quite open to Chinese import. Okay, so when somebody is importing a meter as a part, like a board, the calculator, the baseline, the multi-jet meter is having a couple of parts. If they can integrate the product in India, these are all called as raw materials. But being an electronics person who is actually doing a manufacturing, these imports actually kill the electronics industry in the country because when something is imported in a design form factor, it's not giving any opportunity for an Indian company to scale up.
Hmm.
So what it's exactly do is like being a designer company, we have the raw materials uh, uh, collected and manufactured in India doing the manufacturing. But we can't compete with the Chinese player because few of the products, our BOM price is coming around something around 1,800 rupees. They were selling meters at 1,600 rupees because my purchase capability is will be around a 15,000 numbers or something like that.
Hmm.
And the Chinese player, their purchase capability is around uh, 50 lakhs. That's their purchase capability.
Hmm.
So the pricing competition cannot be achieved in this. So these are one of the major problems what these companies like our companies actually face when it goes for the medium scale of production. So there we identify what we failed because failing is something also it's really good because we understand how things works. So we understand one concept like when the volume is much less and the volume is less and the profitability is somewhat good, then that's an opportunity for a medium company like us to get surveyed because water meter is a very low margin high volume business where where it's very difficult to compete on the government bids and stuff like that because being a small startup like us it was very difficult at that time frame to be. But in that time frame we were one of the startups but we were not able to get successfully in the flow metron side.
Hmm.
Okay, and for the Star Robo, it's a UV sterilizer robot. We believe that still there is a huge opportunity for that product. But being working in the aerospace domain, it is very difficult for us to focus on the in that particular product because it was certified by Sritra Institute of Medical Science with log 6 reduction. Nobody in the country is having the nobody in the country is having the this kind of sterilization capability with the mobile capability also. The product name is Ster Robo. It's STER ROBO. It's sterilization plus robot. We have deployed a couple of robots in the hospital. Some of the hospital is still using this product. Punlu Taluk Hospital is one of the hospital which uses Ster Robo.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a couple of products deployed and we are providing them the service also. But these are actually products that can be actually being an R&D firm, it's very difficult for us to do the sales.
So, I want to know that do you have any patent also?
Not exactly, but we are working on few things where we are not yet ready to share.
So, you consider yourself as a design house, as an ODM, or an EMS company? Like, how do you
No,
define
no,
it?
no. No, no. Actually, we are an R&D company
Mm-hmm.
who know how to produce
Mm-hmm.
mass man.
It means for ISRO, you are doing A to Z things. So, you are making components or you are making full ready product.
We are making some of the requirement like it may be a ready product for some of the products. Like sometimes the card we are developing can be used for many other applications like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't say that we are not launching a rocket or something like that, but we are saying that we can build some parts of it.
Okay. So for making products, you are using components also. So you are sourcing components from where?
We really depend on whatever which is manufactured in India,
Mm-hmm.
where there is a source where we can manufacture it in India. We really depend on Indian manufacturers, and for the other stuffs like semiconductors, some other stuffs, we
Mm-hmm.
need to depend on other countries like Taiwan, US.
Okay.
The Chinese brand we don't generally go. Uh, for other like Taiwan, US based products, we generally go because we forced to go because
Mm-hmm.
there are no other options.
Okay, okay. So, in terms of products, I want to know, Pratheesh, like what exactly you are catering to, you're providing to ISRO.
So, for an example, if they require a control card or a custom card or something like that, if they
Okay.
can come up with the block diagram, so
Mm-hmm.
we can come up with the product design,
Mm-hmm.
uh, test with some sample codes or testing codes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They deliver them the product, integrate in their system, do the testing over there, like that we can do. So that's our capability.
Okay, okay, okay. So, Pratish, what embedded platforms do you primarily work with? ARM, RISC-V, FPGA, like what?
So we are basically working on we have some different verticals like we do have an MCU based development activity that basically work on ARM based controllers and stuff area,
Mm-hmm.
and we have another section is like an SOC kind of system on chip kind of development activity where a higher capability like NXP, IMX8, that kind of processing capability for operating Linux, RTOS kind of activity. We are using that kind of areas. And we have some FPGA kind of development area where the timing criticality is more, where the data input, output, performance need to be on the higher side. We are using FPGA areas. So these are areas where we believe that we are one of the strongest company in the country.
So, how do you ensure reliability in radiant tolerant components for aerospace application?
So the component basically is having some of the really good test certificate, and the design also we consider in a manner where some of the documentations like ISRO packs, some IPC standards are there.
Hmm.
So where we have some expertise where we learn from our experience.
Hmm.
So we note that point and try to implement in the new cards
Hmm.
where these kind of issues can be rectified and minimized. And there are a lot of protection based systems also like e-fuse, so that the recovery can be done without damaging the components. So these are some of the areas where we have some expertise, and we have used most of the SEP Red Hat devices, and the manufacturers where we are using, we try to squeeze out maximum information from them also.
So, Pratish, what communication protocols are supported in your IoT solution?
In for our IoT solution, we it's depending upon the requirement, where some of the requirements need to be on a standardized format. So there we go with Modbus or that kind of system, where some of the requirement where you don't have that much leverage of data or something like that, you may be going with a custom protocol. So depending upon the customer, we can come up with the proper solution, because it's purely depending upon the customer end requirement. Because until and unless they don't require uh, uh, that much, like some of the requirements, they don't require this much complexity. So going with a custom protocol or something like that, that will do the job for them. So it depending upon the system what they need.
Okay, so I want to know that can you explain your PCB design and prototyping workflow?
Generally, what we people generally do is like we gather the requirement first. We sit with our customer for the proper requirement, because uh, requirement is one of the key area uh, where we need to identify which solution can be useful for them, and their budget is one of the major factor for that. Okay. So if these two, uh, uh, if they can finalize with these two, then we have an idea this is the route we need to go. So we come up with a circuit where we can caretaker this much of requirement. So once the circuit is finalized, then the layout people will come into the picture, where they route the PCB according to the standards, and and physical appearance is also required, because the physical position where the connectors and everything, which can do really good thing in the manufacturing look and the production time also. Because some is because most of them are using assembly components, but if you can remove any through hole component, and like some of the through hole components which is mandatory, so if you can remove and come up with an assembly solution, where it may be sometimes costlier in a unit price kind of thing, but it will leverage some of the time in the production and the production cost also. Because so that kind of thing we work in this circuit and PCB layout in between time schedule. So and we come up with the first proto, do the testing with over there. Once the testing of the proto and everything works perfectly fine, then only we go for the mass production. Because generally this is the way to go. Like we have the first proto, then a first pilot production. So even in the first pilot production, we'll have it's generally called as infant mortality, where some of them may be the problem of the low volume production kind of thing. So if we can identify that, and if it is okay to go with a mass production, then only go with the mass production. Generally, I saw people uh, who have done one or two product and product proto, and it seems like it's working fine or something like that. Then once they go for the mass production, then they realize that there is some problem with this, so that this can't be rectified in the mass production. So it will take their huge money and effort to do that. So being going for a mass production, it's very careful to do. Do some pilot production earlier, then go for the mass production. For us, working with ISRO, they don't require mass volume, okay? Because they require like we have because their components are also, because some of the boards their costings are also on the really high side. So they require like one prot. We have the why these kind of works are really complex is like it's not about the technology, it's mainly about the one cut only we have the option for testing. Okay. And we need to produce at least our production volume is maximum 10 numbers. So in 10 numbers, all the boards should perform exactly the same.
So,
That's one of the most complex side of the aerospace domain.
so how do you approach firmware updates for deployed embedded devices in the field?
Some of the because sometimes uh, generally for this question, the answer is photo, firmware over the air is the answer.
Hmm.
But but practically speaking, it's not a viable option for many of the projects because you don't have that much of leverage to do a software update in the end node for an IoT device.
Hmm.
So one thing is like a configurable firmware where you can do some of the tweakings with some commands or something like that from an external device so that it can respond according to our need. Like we can do some modifications like so that's one of the options we generally do for our projects. And some of the projects we do firmware over the air also. It's depending upon the requirement and the project.
So, what role does AI play in your edge computing solutions?
That's a really interesting question. Uh, uh, Everybody say that cloud computing and getting the data into the cloud, that kind of areas, uh, when the data is fed to the cloud, everybody say that we can process from there. uh, for me, uh, whatever the pre-processing or some insights, it can be generated from the edge. We call it as the node or something like that, where the data is captured or something like that. So most of the processing for the cloud, so for these kind of insights, we can do it in edge. So once Edge is doing the process, then the when the data is fed to the cloud through an API command or something like that, the cloud load can be reduced drastically. Because for an example, like uh, for a school bus, the drivers need to drive less than 40 km/h. Somebody is actually doing over 40 km/h. There from the edge we can generate a trigger where this driver is actually speeding up the vehicle. But in the other case, if you can think, if can it can be done in a cloud where the all we need to monitor all the driver's speed from the cloud, and if somebody is going above 40 km, there are chances of actually missing this data. But if it is a edge triggered thing, it can be properly identified from the edge so that it reduces the computation. But it's like you can manage when the volume is around 100 numbers or 1000 numbers, but when it is crossing around 1 lakh or 10 lakh, where these data can cause really good bad trouble in your cloud. So these are something which we believe edge AI is one of the leading technologies that can be integrated. Electronics have huge hope in the AI side also.
Pratish, how do you ensure data security in your connected smart devices?
There are some security things like uh, encryption is one of the best methods we can do in our edge devices, and there are some specific protocols which ensures this device is communicating to the cloud. Like that, it can be done. So, it depending upon the project, depending upon the connectivity what these devices are getting, the securities can be ensured.
So, what are the testing and validation procedure for your in-house products like Flamitrain and SmartGrow?
For the Flowmetron, generally, being a designer company, we definitely have a test bench kind of setup to do this kind of boards validation,
Hmm.
where each board can be validated to their performance level. So when one board is actually having some high current draining or some uh, missing in the sensors or something like that data is happening, we
Hmm.
can validate from the test bench. So until a final assembly in the product and do the validation in the test setup,
Hmm.
in sorry in the product, it's better to validate in the test setup. So
Hmm.
I always recommend to go with a test bench kind of setup for validating the board, then
Hmm.
we can validate it in the final product so that the minimum test will be on the final product and the maximum stress level testing can be done in the test bench kind of setup.
Okay, okay.
This is the normal procedure where everybody do.
Mm-hmm.
when it is on a proper professional way of production.
Okay. So, do you support real-time operating system in your solution? If yes, which ones?
I think we have done couple of systems. I think FreeRTOS we have done some of the some for some of our projects.
So, what tools and software do you use for simulation and embedded system development?
For the simulation side, we so that's one area. We are right now working with OrCAD, uh, like OrCAD is our basic layout tool, but these areas are really expensive
Mm-hmm.
in the simulation, like circuit simulations and stuff like that. So we depend on many of the service providers, the companies who can some of the companies who do this as a service.
Mm-hmm.
So we provide them the like what they require. They do the simulation for us, and we do the update according to their response. So that's one of the method we generally follow, because buying a tool won't be that much financially viable, because uh, suppose this is the general cost, like it costs around 20 to 25 lakhs for an year to for this simulation tool, because until and unless we don't have it as a daily basis use, it won't be a financial viable thing.
Mm-hmm. So, Pratish, what are your primary revenue streams? Product sales, servicing, or consulting?
Actually, we are one of the most successful bootstrap companies in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, from 2013 to 17, we didn't take any external financial help, but we started working with ISRO people. We need some financial capital to run, because ISRO people, the, because being working with the government entity, if they are all providing an advance or something like that, even that is not actually viable for us,
Mm-hmm.
because they require bank guarantee for that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get a 1 lakh rupees advance, we need to give a bank guarantee of one lakh or something like that. Even if they calculate the interest or something like that, that's also viable for us. But this bank guarantee, if we need to get a bank guarantee, we need to give bank that equivalent FD. So it's not a viable for a company like us. So at that time frame started, we associated with Canara Bank, and we generally say that Canara Bank is one of the best bank we have deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So they given us. It took some time for them also to get understand. Even though my first my overdraft was not based on my turnover or something like that. It was a collateral based bank guarantee, but now they understand my business really well, and we generally say that Canara Bank is supporting us really well in the financial matter. So we say that most of the times we say that we have one financial partner that's called Canara Bank. So like that we generally see. Like sales is one of the most revenue thing we are really focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Like our 90 percentage of the revenue comes from the sales, and almost 5% comes from the service sector,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 five briefly, we don't give that much of consultation, but 5% something like that from the consultation side.
Okay, okay. So, Pratish, how do you differentiate yourself, your company, from other embedded system companies in India?
Actually, we have two type of verticals, where we have few as our product, like we are the OEM. So scope is one of our product, where we invest really heavily in their R&D sector, where we make our product stand up in the market, like in the technology part. uh, so that one area where we believe that our product is actually really good in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one vertical we have. The second vertical is on the service side, like an embedded design house, design house service based system, where we understand the client requirement properly. Most of the time, people only think about what the client is giving the RFP, like an RFP document. But most of the time frame, that RFP document won't be fulfilled until and unless got realized, because it takes for everyone to understand the product once it is realized.
Mm-hmm.
But because that's why it's called an R&D kind of thing. Otherwise, it will be like a reproduction. But
Mm-hmm.
when it is on an R&D kind of thing, so our understanding won't be that much good. But we as a Tachlog
Mm-hmm.
spend some time in working the RFP side to
Mm-hmm.
make it in a quotation side, and for the working of the project also, because we believe uh, a quality product need money and
Mm-hmm.
effort to get it realized.
True.
But it won't do until you spend your time and you spend your money also.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it won't happen. So
Yeah.
that's that line. We believe that we are pretty good in that area.
And Prateesh, what is your payment cycle? Like, how do you manage payment cycling with your client?
So this is one thing which it took almost 4 years for me to convince my bank.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my payment cycles generally more than 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
8 to 1 year cycle payment.
Mm-hmm.
Generally.
Okay.
It's a good thing also, and it's a really bad thing also, because when why it's a good thing, because in between you don't need to search for project, because you need to go only with the limited projects. You can go with the very limited projects,
Mm.
but the major problem is the money, the running cycle, because you only get the payment once the things are done.
Okay. So you don't get a advance or anything?
That's what I told. Like being working with government entities,
Mm-hmm.
advance is not a viable option. Milestone payment is one of the option, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not that much easy when it comes in for many projects in the public domain.
So, do you think is there any challenges in this industry?
There are a lot of challenges in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like for an example,
Mm-hmm.
most of the tenders we participate comes in the public bid, where people, uh, anybody in the country can quote for the bid. But what it exactly mean is like, if we are for us, if we are approaching a company in a DRDO, where they have a requirement, so they don't have any idea about tax law
Mm-hmm.
while we are participating in the bid.
Mm-hmm.
So so it will be like in a gem or something like that. It happens according to the technical document. We are giving a financial budget estimation.
Mm-hmm.
First problem is like uh, the uh, the annexures they are providing for this bid maybe not that much accurate. So once we start the project, there are possibilities like uh, our financial estimation won't be that much correct for
Mm-hmm.
what we are doing in the project. And the second one is like, if I can say this word, that undercode,
Mm-hmm.
because being in a public tender, somebody will quote, suppose we estimate something around 20 lakh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, somebody comes with with the bid and saying that it's around, we can do it in 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs.
Mm-hmm.
But what it exactly mean, like it's not financially feasible for them to do the project in 5 lakhs. So they end up in a trouble situation where they won't be able to execute the project. So that level of financial estimation is happening in many of the public bids we are participating.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one area. It's not actually, because even the intenders are expecting this item in this quality manner.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are underquoting,
Mm-hmm.
we won't be able to do it in a quality manner. So it's better. Generally, I used to say everybody should spend some time
Mm-hmm.
in financial budgeting, so
Mm-hmm.
that you won't be in trouble to execute this project. But generally, most of the generally many people don't put it in a public platform. Generally, the ISRO people say that they have kept this much of budget, but what it actually comes is like somebody is claiming that they can do it in this budget. But at the time of execution, then he understand that this much of work need to be done. So they are in trouble to execute the project. Sometimes they in between they stop the work like that. It happens.
So are you currently seeking any investment or a strategic partnership for a scaling operation?
Yes, yes. Right now we are in a stage where we need fund to scale up, but we are looking for investors who can take us to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, bank investment will be much good. Because if we are taking an investor, he need to take us to the next level,
Mm-hmm.
where we expect some kind of a financial secure funding capability from the investor. Otherwise, a bank is actually supporting us.
Okay. So how do you manage client acquisition and retention in the R&D service sector?
One word answer: the quality of delivery.
The quality of?
Delivery
Okay, okay.
and the support.
Okay. So do you provide any after sale services also?
Yes, yes, it's really required in many of the projects. Even some of the software development, like for the data scope, we have a dedicated team working on their updated requirements and stuff like that.
Okay.
So after sales is one of the major area where you need to upgrade your product so that daily you need to sharpen your tools to be in the market.
So, Pratheesh, what is your IP strategy? Do you patent your innovations?
Yes, actually, we are working on few of our. Actually, some of our technology is like we are best integrators to integrate in a useful manner,
Mm-hmm.
where the possibility of patents are not that much higher. But we are working on few robotics and some specific technology sites where we have some patenting options, where the R&D things are going on. So probably by next year we will be having one or two patents filed.
Mm-hmm.
So the patent is one area. It's quite niche also. The patent need to generate revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Because generally people say that I have 10 patents or 5 patents.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask them how many patents you are generating revenue, or somebody is using your patent, or if you say that somebody you are making revenue from that patent,
Mm-hmm.
it's most of their answers are nil. But what I say is like few of my products, I'm generating revenue, and I am working on few products where at that this time frame I'm not able to share you anything because it's in a public domain, so
Okay.
I'm not able to share you. But some of the robotics area, some of the dehumidifiers, and we are working on few agriculture areas where the hydroponics, where the possibility of the massive growth of vegetables stuff areas. So we are working on few that kind of areas where the patent scopes are really high. We are working with DLI scheme
Mm-hmm.
where Indian chips, microcontrollers can be used for our products for the mass manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get that opportunity, we will definitely invest and make it a really sustainable product because people think like this is something which me also had my problem in my mindset. I have a product called Smart Grow
Mm-hmm.
where I used to sell uh, a smart irrigation system, which was really successful when I was selling on my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
But when I used to ship to a Bangalore customer, it
Mm-hmm.
takes a call center person.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, it me or my colleague or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be in their phone continuously explaining them how it can be done. Okay, so for that you require a really good money in the mold investment where that you can remove that kind of dependency like plug and play kind of thing. The brochures, letters, these requires massive investments. So until and unless you have sufficient money in your bank account, you can't invest in these kind of activities,
Right.
because you will be trying to save lot of money to run your business, to take care of your employees. Until and unless you won't be able to give them the salary, these people won't stay with you. So
Yeah.
once you are going for a production like a product, you need to have some branding, you need to
Uh-huh.
put advertisement. So until and unless you have sufficient funding, you
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to do that. So we are working on these kind of areas. And India is actually supporting many of these kind of initiatives, like Make in India initiatives, like uh, many of the initiatives Indian government is actually pushing on. And we are actually focusing on some areas where we can do something in the Make in India initiative. So we are one of the capable player.
Okay. So, how do you price your turnkey product development services?
It's depending upon the project. So generally, uh, we are not that much cheap, but
Mm-hmm.
we are not that much expensive also.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But quality services need to be charged. So we are not that, we can't say that we are cheap kind of service provider,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not that much highly expensive.
Okay. So, Pratish, what are your expansion plans for international market or cross-industry applications?
We are tapping many opportunities, uh, like many of uh, the aerospace requirements are there,
Mm-hmm.
where we are right now not able to approach uh, the end customers, but we are getting the projects in like an outsource kind of thing, where we won't be able to get the proper revenue, because the middleman won't be able to understand these kind of requirements. So whatever he is sharing to us, so that won't do the job. But UAE is having some kind of aerospace development activity. We are trying to tap that area also.
Okay. So, Pratish, my last question is related to your fiscal growth. Like, how was your last fiscal growth in terms of revenue, and what will be your expectation for upcoming 2 years?
Actually, COVID affected us really, really badly, because
Mm-hmm.
we have one product called Flow Metro, where we were not able to make it a success, because that time frame we lose some of our bootstrap revenue generated amount. So at that time frame we lost a really good revenue stream due to this product failure. After that, we COVID was hit really badly, so that the turnaround time of many of the projects got quite expanded. Now we recovered from that dip in our financial term. Okay, but the scale is actually really good, and from last year we have grown almost 150 percentage this year, both in technical side and both in financial side also. We are expecting a 10x growth in next 2 year time frame. The 10x growth is something which we need. Uh, that 10x growth we are planning in next 2 years. And currently, what we are working in a 2,000 square feet area, we are planning to expand in a 6,000 square feet area.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, 25 people in the team. We are planning to grow to at least 50 to 100 in between,
Mm-hmm.
depending upon the project what we are getting. So the expansion, we are focusing on really high value projects also.
Mm-hmm.
And what we think is like we started building consortiums where uh, our expertise will be on the design. Somebody will do the production for us, so that we together can grow like an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
There are some of the government initiated expo systems, like Space Park is one of the, you may be aware of, just search Space Park or something like that. But we people believe, because like-minded people can do this kind of stuff, like me and the second company or third company
Mm-hmm.
together can come up with a solution for the end customer.
Mm-hmm.
That is one area we are really focusing on. So next 2 year at 10x growth. And India is also giving us this much of opportunity, because earlier government focus is basically do the R&D in-house and stuff like that. Now the government is actually supporting the MSME unit, because MSME is one of the most revenue contributing in the GDP. So if MSME grow, India will definitely grow.